Hello, my name is Julie Green, and this is a bit of my writing. The clients at Options were all on break, relaxing and smoking between groups. I usually sat with the others, but today something didn't feel right. I stayed outside of the dining room, where most folks sat, standing at the doorway, observing. Then I walked into the front area and slumped down on a couch. I knew I didn't belong at Options, but now I was trapped. Not only had this Options venture been an investment of time and energy, but I was also caught up in the petty goings-on between clients. Ron had called this the milieu, hadn't he? I remembered he had to explain to me what the term meant. I had hardly noticed the shift. I had become overly involved in the lives of other clients, simply because I wanted to help them. If there were no answers to my eating problems, not at Options, then at least I could assist other people along the journey. Wasn't that what I was there for? It was all mixed up now. I didn't want to get too comfortable on that couch. I had seen so many clients completely overtaken by medication-induced drowsiness lie down on those couches and even snore. I didn't take any medications, though I wished I could try some, just to see if they helped my eating disorder. I didn't dare ask, even though I heard some pills might help with binge eating. Other patients were called medication-seeking, self-medicating, or even addicts, just for asking for a dosage raise. I didn't want to be called those things, nor to be admonished by staff. I knew I was in a terrible trap between my family, the other clients, the staff, and myself. Was there anything I could do? Was there no way out? I was afraid to mention how I really felt. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. What would happen if I quit? I couldn't imagine that either. The therapist had spoken so much of the value of structure in our lives. They claimed most of our problems came from not having enough to do during the day. I didn't want to say anything, but I knew that before, when I was in college, I had plenty to do, and I had a clear sense of purpose. Now, I wasn't sure at all. I tried to picture my college in my mind, picturing first the Fine Arts Center I had known so well. Bennington College. This place was like home to me once. I remembered the grassland outside the Fine Arts building. Looking over that grassland up the hill, I could see the music building, Jennings, where most of the faculty had offices. Downstairs in the basement and on the second floor were tiny practice rooms where we students could play music to our heart's content. I sat on the couch at Options and tried to remember the sound of my own trumpet playing. Had I forgotten that glorious sound? Yet there it was, in my memory, astonishing me. Vivaldi. Haydn. Where was I in all this? Where had I gone? Now I was trapped in a place where I never should have been. It was my choice to attend Options, but now I was stuck in the thick of it. Sometimes I felt that options was tearing me apart. I stood up, looked around, then slipped past the men who slept on the couch, careful not to disturb them. I wanted to join the others in the dining room, but couldn't bring myself to join the petty conversations. I watched others from afar as they puffed on their cigarettes. Several, unable to sit still, paced back and forth. Others marched in place. Some sat and stared into the smoky air. Why were they like that? What happened to them? Most clients suffered from acne and overweight. I noticed that most also had hand tremors. Was that this anxiety that kept popping into conversations? None of them had been born like that, had they? I had no answers. Part of me wanted desperately to belong, and now I'd been displaced from the life I once knew. How could I belong here? Did I even have a place in this new environment? I knew that in my childhood I had been a rebel. I didn't want to be just like everyone else. My parents weren't people who wanted us to be just like the other families. They had valued originality, while the entire culture around us valued sameness. I had learned to value innovativeness and individuality. But what about now? The options staff spoke of the value of community and support. The concepts were vague and often contained unanswerable contradictions. A thought crossed my mind. Leave. Just go outside and be alone for a while. I turned and started to step away. My jacket was still hanging in the closet where I'd put it that morning. I started to take it off the hanger, but then put it back and smoothed it in with the remainder of the jackets. I'd always been a small person, always the shortest kid in my class. Being short meant my clothes had to be taken in. I had taught myself to hem my own jeans and patch them by hand. I couldn't reach the top shelf at the library, but rather than ask for help, I always knew where the libraries kept their step stools. When I became fully grown, yet short adult, people never saw me as short anymore. I had the impression that this was because at some point I had made it quite clear that my height didn't handicap me, nor did I want special treatment nor singling out. Being short and small also meant I could fit into small spaces, and if necessary, hide. I could duck under things, while others climbed over. Countless times I'd hidden in my family's attic, or in the basement, or under a bush or tree. I could duck right under those coats, couldn't I? Sure I could. What was in the back of that closet? Was it all dusty and gross in there? Or was there some history inside, some deep secret that had been buried and hidden here at Options? Or just darkness? Crouched in the dark corner, behind many coats on hangers, I tried to be still and think of absolutely nothing. I peeked out through a narrow opening in the coats into the hallway, but nobody even knew I was there. I curled up until I was compact, taking up as little space as possible. What I found was mesmerizing and as tempting as a powerful, addictive drug to disappear entirely.